Hey guys, what's going on? It's Slummy again here, back with Proton and Heimdallite, and today we're bringing you another review here, the patch notes review and balance pass analysis. Why don't you guys say what's up?
Hey, what's up, everyone?
Yeah, what's up, guys?
Yeah.
So let me see here. So right now we're just starting off the bat here with some new stuff we observed in the Quirks list. We saw the what was this? The Quick Draw 4G and the Catapult Jester get some pretty significant energy quirks, and these guys are just dueling it out right now to see how it all works. Why don't you guys tell us about Heimdallite? Why don't you tell us about the Quick Draw?
Yeah, so the quick draw's got some pretty crazy laser range. That seems to be its biggest advantage in the 4G. I think the 5K hardpoints seem a little bit better than the 4G, but the 4G has a little bit better quirks, it seems. And on the other side, Jester.
Yeah, so just touching real quick on the Quick Draw 4G quirks. Specifically for the build Heimdallite's running, we're looking at a 15% energy cooldown, minus 15% energy heat gen, and a plus 25% energy range, in addition to a minus 15 laser duration. So as you guys can see, ER large lasers are reaching out to about 911 meters. Is that with modules, Heimdallite?
Yes.
Okay.
That's like pure effective range, so it's kind of absurd.
And then over here on the other side, we got Proton in the Jester. Let me see. What do you like about the Jester, Proton?
Hardpoints seem better than the quick draw.
I mean, no, there's that. Must be busy.
He's super focused.
He's very focused.
Trying to kill me right now.
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. Actually, what I do like about the Jester is it's a catapult. You know, it's the catapult. It's not now. It's with the new patch. It's gonna be viable because of the quirks.
Fuel at 0%.
Specifically, the structure quirks on it make it really hard for me to chew through your armor as fast as you're chewing through mine. So I guess in terms of heavies, the Jester goes into a viable spot. Like it becomes a viable mech. It becomes a mech that you don't have to work very hard to operate efficiently. Whereas like lesser optimized mechs are like that. You have to play a lot more, a lot differently if you take a lesser optimized mech. But yeah, that Jester's not only got the structure quirks. Like I just alpha Proton CT and the trade was awful for me.
Yes,
I basically lost that. Basically. Even though I got a free shot on his CT, it didn't matter. Because the catapult has a lot of structure quirks, and even at range against a quick draw, I still feel like it would outdo the quick draw simply because of those structure quirks and its minor 10%, 15% heat gen and energy cooldown.
That's right.
Yeah.
So just to show you guys again, yeah, so the Jester is not as significantly quirked as the Quick Draw. We're looking at minus 10 heat generation, with a plus 15 range and minus 10 duration. So the Quick Draw does eclipse, these specific quirks, but as we just demonstrated, I think having the additional structure plus the better hard points really makes the mech a little bit makes it a contender, definitely, for this particular slot.
Yeah, I don't like us saying that it is the meta because it's really hard. There's a lot of different situations and a lot of different applications of certain mechs, and something might not be meta specifically. So basically what we're looking at is what are the top performers, like the suggested top performers of their class, because they all perform differently, different roles, but it's more about which ones seem to be getting this slight statistical advantages, or especially with these balance passes. So
exactly. So let me see here.
Speaking of balance pass, yeah,
balance.
Go through this really quick. For the we recently had a PTS4 review video, and we went through the balance pass on there pretty well. But just for a short rundown of what actually happened again. all those PTS4 changes were mostly implemented into the current live servers December 1st. So with this balance pass, there is no Infotech, or what PGI has dubbed Infotech. There is no ghost damage laser lock mechanic. ECM has been reduced to 90 meters. The skill tree has been changed to make mechs feel more lumbering, give the difference between a quicker reacting mech mechanically versus a slower reacting one. There's advantages between both now, sort of. When the clan side torso is destroyed, the engine power is reduced by 20%. The clan double heat sinks got nerfed. Their heat cap is a little bit lower now, but their heat dissipation is 0.1, I think, faster, right?
Yeah, that's right. Increased from 0.14 to 0.15, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But then, what you mentioned about the cap being reduced from negative 1.4 to negative 1.1.
Right. Yeah, and then they, I think they buffed IS heatsinks in general. These single heatsinks got a tiny bigger buff than they had on the PTS4. Not sure if they become viable with that. Maybe a little bit more testing. But other than those heatsink changes and the side torso destruction, there are no other changes to clan mechs pretty much, which is probably kind of a good thing. It keeps their unique flavor. And then, of course, we got all the structure buffs, which are pretty big for mechs like the Atlas, Catapult. And then we have the missile buffs, which are basically reduced spread, faster speed, and that's about it, right? Oh yeah, and the ghost heat threshold was increased from 3 to 4.
That's right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But as far as the blanket nerfs go, I think. Did we touch on the Gauss? I think everybody obviously remembers this from PTS because everybody likes their Gauss. But Gauss rifles have had their cooldown increased from 4 to 5.5 seconds, so that's definitely affecting a lot of the builds, a lot of the traditional builds that we're all used to. And let me see here. I guess real quick on the single heatsinks thing, it's very encouraging in my opinion, because new players, Steam guys, not really gonna have the 1.5 million C-bills just out the gate to go for double heatsinks.
That's a good point.
Some people might make a mistake, maybe spend money on Pharaoh. Money goes a lot of different places, not the right places, definitely, when you first start playing this game. I think a change like that really makes a big difference to a new player, and so it's encouraging to see that.
It does, you're right. And just like the skill tree changes, unbasicked mechs are closer in parity with the double elited master mechs,
yes.
Which was a huge jump. Like, before, that jump was way too big. It caused such a decrease in play quality from the mechs that you felt pretty gimped, whereas now you feel on a much more level playing field. And yeah, you're right, the IS heatsinks, that will also, just those getting a buff inherently, like when people first get a mech and have to run it, they don't have a choice. Yeah, they'll get that buff. So that, yeah, you're right, that parity between what new players experience and what elite players experience is much closer now. Definitely. So it's a little bit more level of a playing field.
Proton, you got how do you feel generally about these blanket quirk changes, man? Did you see anything that jumped out at you that really kind of, you looked at a couple of your mechs and went, this isn't really going to work anymore, or anything like that?
I have doubts about the effectiveness of the clan mechs. I mean, all this laser nerfs and heatsink is definitely going to hurt the big laser vomits, and I don't know. I used to run the Timberwolf 2 large pools and 4 medium lasers, and now you can actually run it, but it's gonna be even hot than it used to be. And going back to like 3 medium lasers with 2 large pools is, you can do it, but you don't have the enough like punch, enough firepower for the 75 tonner. I mean, the Timberwolf. And yeah, so like any other clan mechs, Stormcrows got a serious punch in the face, I would say, because
They
Yeah.
already
Yeah,
have
the-
energy
the-
nerfs along with the Timberwolf on their omnipods.
Yeah, they still were hot, and now they're even hotter. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And well, the only mech that is untouched, I mean the clan mech, I think it's Arctic Cheetah. To be honest.
Yeah, more or less. I think we just had a realignment of the original quirks, so those the leg structure and arm structure I think were removed, but that's about it. Yeah.
Yeah, so mechs like the Executioner, which were already performing a little bit subpar, are now going to be performing a little bit worse than they were before. Maybe like an Ice Ferret. Mechs with that seemingly have some tonnage restriction issues, but the Summoner seems, like we were saying earlier with the skill tree changes, the Summoner actually seems like a pretty agile SRM platform now.
Yeah.
So maybe it's trying to find its role in other ways other than that, and it's becoming a little viable in that sense because it's kind of quick. It's got a lot of jump jets. So yeah, the blanket changes definitely are hurting the already underperforming clan mechs that are performing worse than majority of the inner sphere now, I would argue almost. But that's not all the clan mechs. It's just, certain ones. And like Proton said, certain ones are untouched, like the Arctic Cheetah.
Right. So hey, do we want to go into? Let me see here. Another.
Let's look at these Marauders.
Yeah, let's take a look at the Marauders. I see.
Yeah, let's get this show. Yeah, so what do we got? So let's get this out of the way. The MC release date. Oh yeah, no, we're green in lobby by the way. But the
there we go.
MC release date for the Marauder is March 15th, 2016. A C-Bill release date is April 19th, 2016. And what quirks exactly did this Marauder get? I know the 3R variant, I think, got the PPC velocity, some ballistic velocity quirks. The Bounty Hunter got laser energy quirks, right?
Yeah, so let me see here. So speaking specifically, like if we wanted to start at the Bounty Hunter, let's see. So Bounty Hunter gets a little bit of structure bonus, pretty much to almost all the Omnipods there, about 8 additional structure across the mech, and a 12 in the CT. And then for the weapons, we're specifically looking at plus 10 range, minus 5 heat generation, and also a plus 10 medium laser range for the Bounty Hunter. And then if you wanted to mention the 3R, I know we all like the 3R. I think the 3R personally is going to be a really good performing mech. It has quite a bit of additional structure. We're looking at 23 additional CT structure, and then 16 to 12 additional structure distributed between the legs, arms, left torso, right torso. It definitely has a good structure bonus. And when we talk about the weapons, we're looking at plus 10% ballistic range and velocity, minus 5% heat generation, plus 50% PPC velocity, and a minus 5 PPC heat gen. So I think we're netting 10%, minus 10% heat for PPCs.
It seems like a viable performance in general with the structure and weapon quirks like the other heavies that we saw.
That's right.
So what we're doing now, why this battle's so special is it's the Bounty Hunter with the energy laser quirks, I believe, against a Black Knight with laser energy quirks and structure as well. So they're both pretty even mechs on paper, I guess. Maybe the Black Knight has a little bit better quirks, right? I think.
Yeah, the BL7 KNTL, we're looking at plus 20% energy range, minus 15% duration, and minus 10% heat gen. So, it does look a little bit better on paper. You guys are pretty much netting kind of similar structure bonuses, though. But let's see how it goes.
Oh, this is interesting.
Critical damage.
Oh.
I think I got a little bit of a jump on Proton there.
Probably, yeah.
So the thing with both of these mechs, they're both XL mechs. And I would argue they're sort of XL friendly because it's harder to hit the side torsos. And the Marauder, from the side, you hit the Marauder on its side torsos a lot. But when you're facing a Marauder, its profile is so thin and narrow that if you turn a little bit, your arms are sticking out, and your arm can get hit. If you turn, if you're facing straight forward, it's a tiny square box that is basically the torso. So at that point, I guess the mechs seem sort of even, I would argue, because of the Black Knight's humanoid nature, that it would spread damage a little bit better, and the Marauder might take a little bit more CT damage from face battles, but more side damage from flanks.
Yeah.
So,
Proton,
between the two...
Proton, yeah, like, I know you've been piloting both. You've piloted both a lot, and we've spent a lot of time in the cockpits yesterday. The Marauders, I think all three of us spent a lot of time in Marauders yesterday. I don't know, how do you initially feel about these mechs and where they might find themselves in the Inner Sphere heavy lineup?
Well, I agree with Heim about the damage spread on Marauder, but I think when it's facing, even I don't know, when it's facing, it's still hard to hit it in CT because I don't know, maybe hitboxes are like some spaces on front.
It's just a narrow profile, like really thin. It's not wide.
Yeah, and you can't really tell like if you're hitting a CT because like we just played a match and I alpha striked you in CT and I thought like I was keeping my crosshair on your CT straight, like leading it, but it felt like I also spread my damage a lot through your side torsos. Yeah, and it felt really weird because
it did seem like that. It was weird.
Yeah, so that's basically it.
Yeah, what we were saying yesterday. Oh, go ahead.
Strong front, maybe a weak side profile, but yeah.
That's a great way to put it. It has a very strong front profile, front-loaded damage, but if it gets flanked, it's extremely vulnerable.
Yes, I'd have to agree.
And yeah, like we were saying yesterday, because we don't want to. I don't like. You start to learn more about these mechs as you play them more. So I feel like you need to get playtime in these to understand where their strengths and weaknesses really lie. So we got a lot of playtime with Marauders yesterday, and I think something we all noticed a little bit was that tankiness, and it sort of just came out to light in the 1v1 a bit more.
Yeah, the tankiness can definitely not be ignored, especially if you took the 3R version. As you guys can see, the additional structure bonuses there of the 3R are pretty significant compared to the rest of the Marauder range, which gets somewhere in the neighborhood of plus 8 and 12. So yeah, but let me see here. What do we want to go into next? The UI redesign. I think I'm gonna kill this lobby for you guys and go into some slight UI stuff.
And while Slummy's doing that, I want to mention that I had a lot of C-bills before yesterday, and then I spent a lot of C-bills, and I really wish I got the difference from the Cadet bonus that they just increased. So for anyone who doesn't know, new players also get a little bit more parity with experienced players. The Cadet bonus, your first 25 games, the C-bill amount was increased. So not only do you have a higher Cadet bonus now, but you also have higher rewards in-game. You have the skill tree changes. You have the basically overall closer parity between what an experienced pilot and what a new pilot will have. So the gameplay is more of a level playing field, and that's great. That's what you want out of that. So do you want to check out this cockpit item screen redesign? Because they have a preview button.
I'm actually in it right now, and as you guys can see, this is something, part of the patch notes here that we wanted to touch on. Obviously, you guys can't see the working cockpit monitors, but you'll probably pick that up throughout the video here from these guys, as you can see their cockpits and the screens active here. But we're able to preview any kind of movement really on standing, hanging, and mounted items. As you guys can see, things shake a little as you click on them, and let's give a nice Warhorn preview.
Yes.
So I think that was pretty cool. There's definitely some
That's
interesting things that they added in here. Owned warehouse sale screen, stuff like that. Very helpful.
It's in line with the camo spec screen, which is what the most important part of that was.
Yes.
There's more flow to the UI now that two screens, both the color and the camo and the cockpit, are all following the same trend. They're all following the same sort of design. So if you get used to one, you don't have to get used to another one.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's, again, good, very encouraging for Steam Day launch things, much like the doubling of CBIL earnings, much like the Cadet bonus, the IS heatsink buff, all of this stuff. These are things that people will just nick and dime away, and I'm really glad that things like these are fixed, or brought into a way that people won't really have a lot to complain about.
An issue with them, yeah. My favorite, by the way, is that Phoenix standing on
the
them.
Phoenix
that
item
looks
is
so
freaking
badass.
sweet.
Yeah. We should,
But
let's get into the
is there another
Stormcrow.
match? We got another match going right now?
Yeah, let's get into this playtest for the Blackjack 1X with all its energy, laser, craziness, medium. And then we'll take it up against a clan mech.
Yeah, that's right.
Balance pass. Yeah, so we got the Stormcrow. If you want to get that lobby. Oh, you got it. Sorry.
Yep, already ready for you guys.
All right, cool. So just need Proton to accept the invite. And yeah, so my Stormcrow has 5 medium pulses. I tried to. It's surprisingly kind of a decent build, actually. The heat efficiency is pretty good. Speed's pretty good. A little bit tanky. It is a 55 versus a 45, but that Blackjack is really good. It's definitely a top performer in its weight class. So it'll be interesting to see how this works out a little up close.
And just to show you guys here are some general Blackjack quirks. As you guys can see, a lot of extra structure. In most cases, more left-right arm, CT, and torso structure than a lot of the heavy mechs that were quirked for IS, such as the Marauder. So there's some really good... It is very tanky. It is definitely not as glass cannon one-shottable as it used to be.
Yeah. Other than that, so the IS Blackjack got pretty good. Some other mechs fell a little behind though, and that's why we're probably not using them.
Yeah.
Specific, the Wolverine and the Gridiron.
So, referred to as, I've seen being referred to as de-gimmicked in the public eye lately. The reduction of the Gauss cooldown for Gridirons and things like that, I'm not really sure what owners of those mechs are going to do anymore.
Heat level critical.
But, as you guys can see here...
Oh, man, that's nuts.
We have the current old meta and something new.
Heat level critical.
Did I shoot your leg off yet, Proton? Jeez.
Critical damage.
So, at first, I think Proton's DPS is much higher than mine.
Yes.
That's a given. So, I mean, even though he has an XL engine, I could have tried to shoot for his side torsos. I think he would have spread it pretty well.
Yes.
I just figured going for his legs, powering through them would have been best, because do the Blackjacks have leg structure quirks?
Not that I know.
Yeah, I mean, that might be the best spot to go for them at that point.
I do not see... I see left, right torso, and arm. Yes, they do have structure. The legs get plus 22.
Oh, that was the worst place to shoot.
It's a toss-up between the torso and the leg. They both have plus 22 structure.
They're both as hard to hit.
They are both as hard, and like you said, I think the legs are a good idea. Just because if you fight a competent pilot, he will understand that he is able to easily, even when cored, will most likely be able to spread quite a bit of extra damage across his, structure buffed left, right, and CT. So I think that was a good decision for you to make, definitely. But as you can see, the BJ1X is such a strong performer now that it doesn't have the brittleness of the chassis that it used to.
Right. I agree. Yeah, and maybe I should have gone for the blackjack arm, because at that point maybe de-arming it.
The arm has the same amount of structure.
I know, but it's the easiest to hit.
It is. It is.
It might be. Yeah, so the blackjacks seem really, really good. Stormcrow, maybe a better. I honestly feel like even if I had taken 2 large pulse, 2 medium, Proton would have ran all over me with the blackjack.
I agree. Yeah.
And as we were saying, there's not many other mechs in IS mediums. Like the Wolverine got nerfed.
Yeah, the
Gridiron
6K.
got nerfed.
Mm-hmm. The 6K does not have the similar. I guess it had a redistribution, is what a lot of people like to call it, actually. Large laser heat gen, energy heat gen. Yeah, we're sitting at minus 10% as opposed to I think a global 25 for large lasers. So you can't really do that anymore. But there are some decent performers. We have a couple of indicators. We have a few. Let me see here. What else? One Centurion. I think we've mentioned this one a lot. The Hunchback 4SP has definitely seen some increase in viability, most likely because of the missile fixes plus the missile quirks that it gets. But again, I think that'll be a toss-up between Griffins and Hunchbacks there. Me personally, I think the Hunchback, because the Griffin does not have nearly as much structure quirks. But yeah, not a lot of changes throughout there. I think Enforcers pretty much stayed the same. A lot of the cicadas seem amazing on paper until you get down to the kind of hard points that they have. Such as the 3C, which looks insane on paper, would be the best ERPPC sniper probably in the game if it had 2 energy hardpoints it could use, but it does not. So, yeah.
Some mechs fall a little short, basically.
Yes, yeah. No matter how many percentage quirks you throw at some mechs, something else needs to be done. But again, encouraging changes for the moment.
Right. Yeah, most of these are in the right direction. Some are blanket. Some might cause some issues, but generally improvements across the board. And I keep. What else got nerfed in the IS? So it's Wolverine,
poor Stalker
Gridiron,
4Ns.
Stalkers.
Stalker 4Ns were definitely a staple, at least of EMP's drop decks, for certain long-range drop decks, because large laser boating was definitely really nice. For the Tourmaline MRB or Major League Mech Warrior match, played a pretty key role for us, but we would probably have to look elsewhere, I think, for a large laser boat, because this slight reduction here, I think it would be worth playtesting just because of the buff that IS Heatsinks got. But again, if we're just talking about strictly from a Quirks perspective, it is worse off.
Yeah, just like the Thunderbolt.
Yeah.
Well.
Mm-hmm.
But let's get into this Pop-Tart match now.
Oh yes, all right.
So this playtest is a Pop-Tart Nova with ERPPCs versus a Blackjack 3 Pop-Tart with PPCs. I do want to mention, Proton played with the Catapult earlier. There were slight rollback on hitbox changes for the Jenner, Catapult, and what I'm in now, the Nova. And what they did was they originally changed it so that there was more side torso exposure, but I think some had a little bit too much, like the Jenner, so they might have pulled it back a bit, just a tiny bit, so they adjusted it, which was good. They did small changes to find the right place. And hopefully that makes a mech like the Nova last a tiny bit longer, so its arms and CT don't get blown up immediately.
Right, exactly. Let me see here. So what else are we looking at? I don't think I explicitly showed here these cockpit screens for everybody.
Oh yeah, I noticed that I think clans have a general blue appearance, and I don't think it's not just a notice thing. I mean, I think PJ even said it in the patch notes.
Yeah, they definitely did.
So. Intersphere's got the green UI, and clans have the blue UI, which kind of goes along with the color scheme for the clan HUD.
Agreed, yeah.
Which is good. Blue clan HUD, blue monitors, it looks pretty nice. Green and yellow looks good with the yellow HUD on the inner sphere mech, so cosmetically, well done. Although there is only one dynamic monitor.
Yes, which is the kill counter. The rest of them are kind of just cycling repeats of the same thing, but we'll let it slide. They used to say no signal and auto tech for a hot minute, so this is progress, I guess.
Yeah, and they said that actually this allows them to get even more. They said they can do more dynamic monitors now in the future. There was also HUD performance improvements.
That's right, yeah.
That people have been asking for a while.
And which is nice. I'm pretty sure a lot of guys haven't noticed any kind of frame drop at all.
I got frame increase.
That's very good.
By 5 frames from what I noticed, 5-10 frames, which is kind of significant. So.
But in any case, and then what else do we have? Some slight changes to the PSR system, is that right? New accounts are starting in Tier 5, which is a good change, I think. We're going to have a lot of influx of players, so I think it'll be easier on them again. And the rejoin button for the disconnects.
Airstrike online.
Oh, Proton's just cheating with his small lasers and his mediums.
Oh no! Oh wait, that's a crazy build. Get away from me! Where are you? Are you on top of my head? Shit! Oh, I shot out something. That's great.
Left torso critical damage. Alien laser
This
destroyed.
year PPC Nova is a lot better than I think people give it credit for.
It really is.
I know Soy plays it a lot. I know it's the minimal. That's got some pretty good cooldown actually on the ER PPCs. I'm trying to do these snapshots so I don't get CT'd by Proton's small lasers.
Proton is just merciless with the small laser right now.
Oh, so close. This is a pretty intense battle, actually.
Oh!
That was so
Good shot, good shot.
That blackjack is, maybe the 2 PPCs may be a little weak. It was probably good for Proton to put more than that. Like, especially if a mech closes on you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would get screwed big time by just having 2 PPCs, but...
He dealt a lot of damage.
Wow.
He still...
He dealt a lot of damage. The Nova seems like, because it's got the big space in between its arms and center torso, that it makes it a little bit harder to just spam at the center of the mech and get some damage done. It becomes... You have to focus a CT, focus an arm, because it seems like the hitbox changes actually kind of helped it a bit from what I noticed there. I spread damage a little bit better than I normally would have. It was only the face time with the CT that gave me an issue. But yeah, so... Oh, the rejoin button came back. It was gone for 2 weeks. They put the quick play button in, and like when you would get disconnected, you try and rejoin it. And yeah, so the rejoin button's back. That's good. And do we have a finale battle here? Is that what I
We
hear?
do. We have a finale battle, and that will be... Let's see. What am I missing? Ah, yeah, the Black Knight versus the Timber.
It'll be interesting. So this is the laser vomit build with 1 less medium laser. So it's 2 large pulse, 3 ER mediums on this Timberwolf. And Proton's Black Knight has 3 large pulse, 3 mediums, right?
That's right, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, another 75-ton versus 75-ton, just like the Marauder Black Knight. The reason why we're using the Black Knight, for anyone who's just tuning in a little bit, Black Knight's got it's a humanoid, so it spreads damage pretty easy. It's sort of thin, and it's got some good quirks. So I think it even has it's the same amount of armor almost as a Banshee. So
Yeah.
The last time Proton and I did this battle, I took a different build. This is the last video. I had 3 or 4 medium lasers with 2 UAC5s. I'm going to try this out this time. Hopefully it works a bit better than last time, because I tried CTing him and that was not going to work. That was out of the question, pretty much. Time to get intense.
Time to get intense. So as you guys can see, Hyundai's build's been modified a little bit just to come in line with the clan double heatsink changes, as well as just the dissipation. This is kind of what we feel works, I guess, if you guys are still into using lasers.
Fuel at 25%.
Yeah, I definitely think this would be the higher performer for laser vomit mechs on the clan side now, with the reduced ranges and heatsink, double heatsink changes to make the heat cap a little bit lower, and the side torso changes. So, like, let's say Proton shoots out my side torso,
At 25%.
I might not be able to recover from that because of the 20% reduction in abilities and stuff. So, or engine-related abilities. The Black Knight has jump jets, right?
No, it does not.
No.
That variant does not. Oh, interesting.
I don't think any variant does it, Proton?
Yeah. The all non-jump jet mechs.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so they're all no JJ.
No JJs, yeah, that's right.
Interesting. The Marauder had JJs, and JJs help spread damage a tiny bit, so I don't know, maybe that was another part of why it was a little tanky. Oh, I'm scared. I don't see anyone. Yeah, so overall, I feel like the balance pass went in a good direction, better than it normally does.
At 0%.
Uh-oh, here we go.
Yeah, I think, yeah, basically, in closing, I think the balance patch definitely had some good nuggets in it. If you guys feel this is very similar to the PTS4, you'd be correct, with just some very slight changes, of course. I was most encouraged to see some of the other changes that were made in overall, like the new Cadet bonus, the PSR change, heatsink changes, some of the blanket stuff.
Heat level critical.
Oh man, you just ate all of that into your CT.
Fuel at 25%.
I don't want to look at you, Proton.
Right torso critical damage.
Oh, there goes my torso. Wow.
Center torso critical damage.
Oh no, there goes the torso. Oh.
Oh, I think if he had taken the other torso, I think it would have been a different story. Definitely.
Yeah, I think, I really do feel like jump jets help spread damage a bit more.
Mm-hmm. They definitely do. Wow, very good
yeah.
even damage numbers from both of you guys.
I think I got a couple better shots on Proton's torso there. This is the only reason why I got it through it a little bit quicker. But as you guys could see that, I mean, the Black Knight still held up incredibly well against that. And the build I have is now more of a sustained DPS build
than a high alpha build.
Right.
Yeah.
And like we were saying, a lot of the high alpha builds are sort of nerfed with laser vomit, because not only are they heat gen related, but the heat cap is lower, so your heat generation would hit the heat cap faster. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty self-explanatory. It's you got to drop another laser on these laser vomit clan mechs for them to work, and they seem to be a lot closer with the inner sphere counterparts now.
Yeah, I would have to agree, definitely. Well, yeah. Well, that was an excellent playtest. I really appreciate that for you guys. Thank you for doing that. Is there anything else you guys think we missed or you guys want to add?
That was pretty extensive.
How about you, Proton?
I don't know. I think we have gone through everything that we got in this patch.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'd like to thank you guys all for watching. Of course, definitely throw some comments on YouTube or come find us on TS or on Reddit or any way you guys want. Churchofskill.com, definitely. Let us know what you guys thought. If you guys would want to see some more in-depth analysis, maybe something a little different, maybe some mechs you guys think we missed. We definitely like to hear all of it. So for me, thanks for watching. This is Slummy, and how about you guys?
Time to like.
And Proton.
Say I'm Proton.
I just clicked the wrong button. Yeah, and Proton, guys. BRTN, SPZ, Spitsnaz.
Spitsnaz, look out. And yeah, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys on the next drop. See you.
Adios.